proud we stand. We will march beneath our banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let a flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. To the world we bid a welcome in 1,000 different ways. We will toast to long lost friendships as we build our better days. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. We are all the heroes of Scotland. We're a nation hand in hand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum.
There we go. It's better if I'm in the picture, isn't it? Good evening, folks. I'm not really expecting much of an audience tonight because, as you probably all know, Scotland is being defeated by Germany tonight. First game of the tournament, I believe. Good evening, Dirk. And they are already 2-0 down. So that's how well we're doing. No, Margaret, you are not the only one who doesn't watch the football. Yeah, well, we kind of missed you, Toffee. I thought you were still in Europe. But obviously you're safe and sound. Oh gosh. 3-0 now. Oh, glory. Oh dear. In fact, my pal, who is a football supporter, I was speaking to him the other day, and he was telling me that Scotland were doing all right. They weren't doing brilliantly, but they were doing all right. So the manager decided to put on this older goalkeeper who needed one more game for his 40th cap. So they they went with emotions rather than logic and common sense. I'd put this man on, and he was instrumental in causing a 2-0 defeat. I tell you, folks. Ode to Dumbarton and Greenock tonight. Might pop in for a cover, John. Yeah. Okie dokie. Okie doke. You need to be, if you do, I mean, if you're serious and you do actually do chap my door, you'll need to be patient. It takes me a wee while now to get down the stairs. Okay. Good evening, David William, son of Larn. Evening, John. Hope you're well. Evening, all. Football, the modern day gladiators, bread and circuses. Act. Keep the masses divided and entertained. Freemason conception. Double driving, goodness sake. Yeah, well, I'll just continue as usual. Let you all know that I got good results at the hospital on Thursday morning when I was up for my checkup with the specialist. And Dr. McLaren is her name. And I actually have some confidence in this woman, although I'm not greatly impressed with the medical profession as a whole. Well, thanks, Doc. It's really good news. It's the best kind of news that I can possibly get, considering the state of the cancer that I've got. Well, thanks, folks. As I say, as you all know, you get cancer, you don't get rid of it. So the best you can do, or the best they can do in relationship to your body, is to keep it contained, which is what they have managed to do. Very good, Toffee. John has absolutely battered cancer. It didn't stand a chance against him. So, as I don't know how many of you have noticed, but some of you definitely have. I have put on some weight, which is unusual for me. I've always had an incredibly stable weight in my life, but since cancer arrived and I've had a wee bit of extra money coming in, I buy better quality food, and I think as a consequence of that, I've put on more weight. So I'm presently at 12 stone 5 pounds. Can you believe? My normal weight used to be 11 stones. But there you go. I'm not complaining. Not complaining. Except I've only got one pair of trousers now that I'm able to squeeze into. And when I say squeeze in, I do mean squeeze in. Well, thanks, David. So, what does all this mean? It means that I don't go back and have another review until September of this year. So, my medication hasn't changed because I'm not on any medication for this cancer. I've got blood thinners for the blood clot in my leg, which is a result of cancer, and my morphine for the touch of arthritis. That's it. That has not changed. So this is all good news. What does that mean for me? Well, it means that I'm still able to function, think to some extent, and function. So it can't be any better than that. And so long as I can function without pain, then I'm okay. So there you go, folks. Good evening, Anglo. I'm trying to line up for the near future the guest list of Woodlander, Jody Rotten, and PBC, and my sister Alison. Not all of the ones I might add, but these are the folks that I'm trying to get committed to a date for coming on. So I look forward to that because I haven't actually spoken to Woodlander directly. He's been in the chat, as you know, but not directly on a stream. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big supporter of what he's trying to do, or what he is doing. He's not trying to do it, he's doing it. And it falls in line, and I think it's parallel to the party. She is indeed, Toffee. She is definitely indeed. BBC is definitely spot on. She definitely knows what's going on in this country and in the world in general. And I'm looking forward to well, the thing is, Treble, I haven't had his email address, and I had to ask Censor to write to him on my behalf. which he was good enough and did. And so he's written to me, and he's going to come on. So it's just a question of setting a date for that. Well, you're right, Toffee and Treble M. He was on. But if you haven't noticed this already, I like to speak to people individually. And once I've spoken to them individually, then I don't mind if they're part of a group on a live stream. I don't like the idea that somebody comes onto the live stream as one of, say, two or three guests, and then I get to speak to that person. I would rather they came on by themselves and I got the opportunity to speak to them on a one-to-one. Then at some future point, they can become part of a bigger guest group. That's the way it has unfolded on this channel. And it's the way I actually prefer it. I like to give all my attention to a guest who's coming on for the first time and give them the opportunity to relax and express themselves. And I think that's better done when it's a one-to-one. Well, that's it, Toffee, but I've got particular things I'd like to talk to Woodlander about. So, for my purposes, from my point of view, it would be better if I could just get to speak to him in this instance, just him and I. It's the same as Joni. When she comes on for the first time, I would like to speak to her by herself, first and foremost, as I did with PBC. Now, I want my sister to come on herself as well, although she has been on by herself, but it's been a while since Alison was on the channel. So it's up here. David saying PBC is spot on and has a great understanding on our current situation, and so much respect for homeschooling her way in. Absolutely. Yeah. Amazing. She's doing incredibly well. No, it's something that we spoke about. Treble M. Treble M's asking, has anybody managed to go to the land that's been purchased? God, there's Woodlander there. Well, I've just left it open, Woodlander. I'm on Tuesday and Friday. I think the only Friday I'm not on is the 28th of June. So I'll leave it up to you. You pick either a Tuesday or a Friday, and I'll book you in, and we'll take it from there. So yeah, that's my intention. My intention is to get Alison on by herself because she has got a lot of things that she wants to talk about, and there's things that she wants to ask you folks in the chat. No problem, Woodlander. I knew you would get back to me. I wasn't concerned about anything. Uh, and that's why I'd like Alison to come on herself first and foremost. Then, the next time I have her on with PBC, and ultimately I'd like the three ladies on. Jodie, Alison, and PBC would be great. I think that'd be a great live stream. But it's like everything else, isn't it, in life? Things pop up and you get committed here, committed there, etc., etc. Well, that's for sure, Margaret. They want to get children as young as possible. I'm I'm just glad that my son, when he was in school, uh, most of that hadn't arrived. In fact, very little of it had arrived. And again, to be honest with you, I don't know if Helen and I would have had the self confidence to educate my son. Because when he was going through school, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but I hadn't been to university. So I didn't have that strength of background to help. So I'm not sure. That's why I take my hat off to her. She's done tremendously well. And I would support anyone who's either doing it or thinking of doing it. It's the only way, folks. Well, I think that's a very good way of putting it, Margaret. Social engineering gulags. I think you're right. There we go. There's our report from the woodlander himself. Had a great day at our land. People brought their kids and dogs. What was really interesting is the kids were interesting in exploring and helping out. None of them on a phone. Oh, that's brilliant, Louis Lander. That's exactly what you're looking for. But I think that's what happens when you take children out to the wilds or onto the beach. All that stuff gets quickly forgotten about, and off they go, zooming about under their own energetic steam. But that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Toffee, what you're saying. Uh, I can't complain about my education, says Toffee. Most of my teachers were lovely, genuine women. This evil propaganda started kicking in just after I left school. Well, that would be about right, Toffee. That would be about right. I just think about it, folks. This is what I imagine, right? Woodlanders just confirmed that my imagination isn't as wild as some might think. But once we've got two or three, well, we've got to say we get another uh, 4 places. Can you imagine the summertime when these places are filled, not filled, but have our people on it with children and, as Woodlander says, with pets, and they're all out there, especially the kids, running wild, having fun. No telephones, no computers. The adults getting together, relaxed, speaking freely without any fear, expressing their opinion, regardless of how how outlandish some might find it to be. This is a tremendous image, a tremendous possibility that will happen. And it will happen because the first steps have been taken, the first steps have been proven to be possible, desirable, and the people are willing to invest in it. And the next time a piece of land is bought, it will be that little bit easier because the people who are taking charge of that will have been through it already and will know the process, and therefore it won't be as arduous to them. And every time we acquire a piece of land, it'll become simpler. Good evening, Steve. Woodlander, it was so good. We ate round a fire. Ah, brilliant. Talking, the kids running around, the dogs being mental. All was missing was horse homes to go back to. We all agreed that's how we should live. So we will try. Of course. Of course, Woodlander. Rill, good evening, Rill. Got out of hospital yesterday afternoon. 2 packed wounds in my gut from taking the stoma out. Oh, the stoma out. And the nurse didn't turn up to dress it today. My amazing missus just did it instead. Jesus. I'm shaking my head here, Rill. I mean, that's ridiculous. Nurses, staff acting that way. Rill would like to know how much land has been acquired. Good for your missus. Well, good for her. You've been watching too many films there, Toffee. Get one of those little bells, yeah, school bell. Oh, 6 acres. Can you, is it possible, Woodlander, for you to put that 6 acres, that number, into some sort of context that people like me can visualize? I can't visualize what six acres means. I'll get a smack out of the ear, says Rob. 2 plots, 3 acres each. Are they adjacent or are they separated? Have you got some plots up for sale with it? Steve asks. I was hoping for 5 acres if I could afford it. As far as my understanding is, Steve, the idea is not to sell it. Ah, well, there we go. That's something to visualise. If it was a housing estate, we're talking 1,000 homes. Well, that's a pretty sizable piece of land, maybe a bit more. 2 minutes walk between them down a private lane. Excellent. Sounds excellent, Woodlander. Excellent. 1,000 homes. Yeah, well, I can imagine that, and that would be the size of Branston, a place in Greenock. Is that what you're going through with, Steve? Once you've sold that house, you're going to get some land and a temporary caravan to crash in. David's saying an acre of land will surprise you how big, especially if you have trees on it. We bought a piece on an acre, and believe me, it's worth keeping on top of all the timber, etc. 3 football fields, I think. I remember a full-size pitch is roughly 2 acres. Photographs on his telegram, says Woodlander. Oops. It's either that or 2 up, 2 down. Depending on how much cash you've got. If you thought the possibility of a small holding, I've got about 3/4, and there's a plot next door about the same with nothing on it. And the guy's interested when I mentioned buying it. Good for you, Will. Get in there if you can afford it. Oh, there's on Jane. Unicorn. Good evening. Unicorn. You'd rather be in the middle of nowhere. Well, as far as I can tell, we are doing all right. That's the idea, Will. Good for you. You must keep us informed about that, if any progress is made on that front. That sounds good. Bit of a jungle there, David, eh? Thank you very much, Woodlander. Well, I didn't know that. You see, I've got something that I have to do first, folks. That's why although I have completely supported the Woodlanders initiative from the word go, I have something important that I have to do before I get involved financially with the Woodlander. And I was waiting on a doctor's report to find out the lay of the land, and that would guide which direction I was moving in. That's it. That's absolutely correct. So, to continue this, what I have to do, and I'm sure you'll understand when I tell you, I have to pay for my funeral because I don't have any life insurance. And I don't want to suddenly keel over and leave my son with a big bill to pay. So now that I have this good news from the doctors, I shall be going and paying for my funeral in advance. And that will then leave me in a position, financially that is, uh, where I can then commit to the Woodlander. Once I get the funeral paid for. Good for you, unicorn. I sent away from my LCWRA paperwork from the government to see exactly what was being said about me. That made me entitled to an extra £40 a month. Brilliant. Brilliant. Good for you. Long story short, my restart mentions hate speech a lot of times and says that I would consider not to have behaviour that would be deemed acceptable in a modern day workplace, because I stick to my guns and say that there's only men and women. Oh, I'd be the same. I wouldn't last. Wouldn't last a bit like that. Just wouldn't. Wouldn't, couldn't, and didn't want to be lasting anymore. There's just so much you could do, and you have to draw your lines, and I think most of us have already drawn our lines. And I think that's one of the many lines that we have drawn, that there are only men and women. After that, it's just nonsense. So there you go, folks. That's a position I'm in. I've got my cooperative card, and I will be going. Well, I'll need to make it. They tell me I have to make an appointment. Make an appointment and go along and pick out a package for myself. So there you go. That's what I'll be doing, hopefully. Well, I'll make an appointment next week and go along, try and get it sorted out. And then, as I say, I can take up the Woodlanders. Very stoic, John, says Rule. Well, I'm sure we all feel the same about certain things. And when you get old and older, you you begin to think about tidying up as much of your affairs as you can. And this is one of them. That sounds brilliant. I've got a fire out the back, woodland there. And I'm sure if we make an effort, we can get to. We need to give this land a name. Have you given it a name yet? We need to give this land a name, so we can when we talk about it, we can we can use the name. It'll be inspirational, don't you think? Did you do that, Will? Community is king, says Steve, and he is so correct. So I've done everything else as they call it, my estate is concerned. Giantopedia. Maybe Woodlander and the folk already involved have got him. Well, it's a good one. Well, the thing is, Steve, when I first came on to YouTube, long before I ever had a channel, there was people all over the place talking about doing what Woodlander was doing. They were talking about it. They were sincere, but nobody did it. Woodlander did it. Toffee. Uh, Toffeeshire. The land is called. I allowed him to use my name because I'm a proper good lad. Little Woodlander said we haven't named it, but it's a very historical place. There's a 3,000-year-old yew tree that was part of a sacred grove over 2,500 years ago. Good Lord, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, you have chosen well, whoever found it, and that's brilliant. That's just brilliant, that is. I just love it already, and I haven't even seen it. But I hope you agree with me. It needs a name. This place, obviously, it needs a very special name with all that history. It needs a really, really good name. Yeah, you keep ploughing forward, Drill. We need all the good folk we can get, and you're a good folk, so the Eden Project may have been good, but it's taken, says David. That's incredible, eh? Unicorn says there is power in the groves. There is power in words. There is power in names. It's in Wales. That's pre-Saxon. Master Druid, says Bass, for woodland. Well, that's a good idea, if you can't think of one. Do a poll on the Telegram channel. I just cannot imagine it not having a name. Woodlander. Imagine us all sat in the longhouse on a Friday, no internet, in person community. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely. Yep. Couple of drinks, fire, open fire. Brilliant. Tall tales and plenty of laughter. Treble M, I love yew trees. Always are found in church yards. And there are reasons for that, of course. Well, that's an idea as well. Real. I wonder if there's any recorded history of it, and if it had a name as a druid place. That would be an interesting project for someone to take up. Julia, good evening. How it was and how it could be again, says David. Horthgarth. There's a church nearby. I'll bet there's a historical text with it mentioned. Oh, I would think you're right there. Absolutely correct. Can't see it. No. Druids are a controversial topic in the Woodlander Initiative. Yeah, they seem to have a mixed press, don't they? Unicorn, the way I learned it, or from what I've picked up, we're all interconnected. We all vibrate and have fields. But trees pick up all of this information in the field and spread it via underground. Well, all this plant life is alive and vibrant. It's not as though trees and plants and stuff are dead matter, because it's not. And zero diversity. I like that. Don't mention the Druish problem. That's it. That's it. Drill. That's it. Lot of fun. Oh, you've got this, Woodlander. I've got the history, a prehistory. Wow, how exciting. Here's heritage. Wait. Come back. That was part of the grove as a sacred site pre-Saxon. Excellent. Oh, this is really interesting stuff, Woodlander. There we go. Past the yew tree. Taxes. Symbol of life's cycle in Christianity. Renewal, birth, death, and resurrection. And unicorn. So food for thought all around. All around the world, the cultures that have sacred musical dances that power and energize the field with intentions have been systematically wiped out. Well, that is intriguing. Treble M, Woodlander, you could have a piece of the field and start a flower meadow. That's why they're also found in graveyards. It's in the plan. Good evening, William. all sounds tremendous. I was just thinking as well, if it's not too much bother, when you come on the live stream, Woodlander, if you could bring a couple of photographs of the land and I'd do as a little tour, if you like. I mean, ain't extensive, just give us a taster. That's why they gave us artificial soles on our feet, stop us grounding to earth, natural vibration. I'm a great one for that, David. I've uh, I've advocated that for quite a few people, and I know it works. It has positive outcomes. Yeah, that would be really nice, Woodlander. I look forward to that. I think I'm sure you know this. I don't have to tell you this, of course, but our people need so much joy. They're so vibrationally, to use that term, and it's a term I'm not keen about using. I'm sure you understand what I mean. But our people are so low in energy, spiritual energy, and something like that would just be helpful. Spanish chicken, goodness gracious. It's a wee while since you've been here. Nice to see you. Good job, Streaky Bacon. And here, the only use he knows are sheep. Stole that. There we are. That's where I was. I never thought about that unicorn. David, I never thought about that. That's why the Dutch party wore wooden clogs, which natural still ground you. I never thought of that. course it does. I know that, David. I have known that for a long, long time that it works. That's one of the things, believe it or not, I used to do when me and the girls went to Spain on holiday. What I would do is I would, for the most part, walk about barefoot because of that. Oh, you're always lurking, are you? Ah, I see. Okay. Oh, you can get photos and letters now. Ultranationalist. I thought that's what you might be doing. Oh, you're off to party, are you? Okay, okay. Okay, doke, Woodlander. I'll look forward to getting your email over the weekend at some point, and interesting stuff about the land. Sounds brilliant. He would go to the grass when he was ill and was close to his end. Also showed me where to bury him, bless him. And that's nice, isn't it? That's a nice thought. Yeah, you take care, Woodlander. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thanks again for being in touch. Well, thank you for asking, Julia. Um, Everything is as well as it can be, and I have to return at some point in September of this year. So before then, a couple of weeks before, I'll receive an appointment for a scan, and then a week or two after that, I'll be back to see the consultant. So that's as good as it can possibly be for me, and I'm happy with that. That means I'm, I can still go on functioning as a human being, and that's what counts. Oh, I know that's how it works, Anglo. Uh, Anglo has said Big Sam won't get early release parole unless he shows contrition for his crimes. Thoughts? Well, of course, he's got to get down on his knees and apologise for caring about him, his family to come, and all our families to come. You've got no right to be concerned about stuff like that. I think it's outrageous, but it's always been part of the deal in prison, regardless of the crime. So I never expected Sam to be let out early for any reason, no matter whether he is a model prisoner or not. They'll keep him right up to the last minute, that's for sure. Because, as you well know, it's not about justice, it's about revenge. Oh, well, you're close to the beach, Steve. That's the trouble. Oh, he'll be there to the last minute. Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Any one of our folk go in for any so-called crime or misdemeanor, uh, they're always treated the same way. Always. Well, that's the big thing for me. And you're still sound in the head. Exactly. Well, having watched my mother sink into dementia, it was pretty cruel to watch. And it's an awful thing to happen to a human being. It's just awful. I would take issue with you, Rill. I would not use the word uh, spiteful. I would use the word vengeful. That's the word I'd use, vengeful. I think it's more about vengeance than it is about spite. It's that as well, of course. But what all of these people forget is that their their time in power is coming to an end. And every day brings people like you and I a step closer to that power. And I agree with what Spanish Chicken said. You follow your own path and give them no reason or excuse to try and pick you out for their treatment. David wants to know, is he not classified as a political prisoner? No, because we've got somebody else in there, Sven Longshanks, and they don't treat him as a political prisoner either. I would have thought so, or prisoner of war, as the powers that should not be are at war with us. Well, I would agree with you, David. Don't get me wrong. I would agree with you, but we've got too many people in prison up in the land, and none of them get recognised as political prisoners. Convicted of stickering perfectly legal literature. I know, disgraceful, Leo Aglo. It's absolutely disgraceful. Well, it's, as I say, it's all about revenge. You could say it's spite as well. Duck the illusion of power, and it would be short lived. They only have power because we allow them to take it. People in this country have always been too afraid. Well, Spanish chicken, thought crime's been here for a long, long time, my dear. Even the judge said it was legal. But what was he thinking? Well, what he was thinking about was his job and his pension. That's what he was thinking about. Thought crime is here, says Spanish chicken. Well, that's for sure. But only if you allow it to exist in your head. And I don't. I never have conceded any ground in here. And so long as I live and have control of what goes on up here, I never will. Spanish chick, same as me. When is the knock on the door? I think it would be slightly embarrassing, would it not, if they tried to get me on some kind of thought crime. Don't you think? I think it would. Incoming call. Well, you're right, Bass, of course. During the mandates and lockdowns, many people should have stepped up for us. were thinking about their jobs. Well, that's true. That is true. David said, same John, live and die a free man. I will not kneel to any man, only our Creator. Yep, absolutely correct. I think if I was up in front of the sheriff court for one of these thought crimes, I think the local paper would have a field day. In fact, I know they would. And so would I. I would insist on having my say. I would have my say whether they wanted to hear me or not. And I would fight for that political prisoner status. I would. I'd fight for it. I'd probably be the first fight to achieve that rank of political prisoner. But as I say, I never expected Saab to get it. There's far too many others already in prison who have not recognised as political prisoners of any kind. Sven Longshanks, as I say, he's one. He's been in for a good while now. Steve. Wolfie is in the chat, lurking, but can't comment. Has been accidentally hidden. Well, certainly nothing to do with me, Steve. I haven't done anything. He's usually in the chat. You usually see him. But can't comment. Has he been accidentally hidden? I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to do that. I can't answer you, Steve. I don't know. I don't know how that happens. Really, I don't. That's what happened to Amanda Lee. She suddenly found that she couldn't comment. Sorry, Steve. That's all I can tell him. If you want to pass that on to him, I certainly haven't done anything. I don't know how you can do such a thing. It's certainly not caused me any reason to ban him or anything like that. See that slaphead SNP candidate saying Yusuf Lot and the UK needs more. Like, I know. I don't know why that's the case, Steve. I just can't answer him. I don't know. I take it then he can hear what I'm saying. Oh, is that how that might work? Rill is suggesting, has he been a naughty boy in comments elsewhere? Yeah, that's right. This was happened to them, Don Browning and Amanda. Well, he could hear. Well, that was the same as what Amanda and Don Browning said. They could hear me, but they couldn't get in to the chat. They couldn't comment. She thought well, the both of them thought I had done something or banned them for some reason, but I haven't. That's right, Doc. You're quite correct. That's how Dawn got back in. She made a new account with a different name and then come back in again, and it worked for her. But I have no idea why that happens or how it happens. I don't know what it happened to her. William and others suggested I try this, that, and the other thing, which I did, and nothing seemed to work. So I'm at a loss as to how this happens to folk. I know it's odd, Steve, how that can be. That's the only thing I could suggest. He opens a different account and comes in via that account. Bass, only for God and hand in marriage, and only I'll need. I'll do that again, shall I? Only for God and hand in marriage, only I'll kneel. Well, I'm sorry, Wolfie. I just don't know why it's happened to you or how it's happened. That's the only thing I can suggest that worked for Dawn. Well, you're so right in what you say, David. My feelings as well. I would demand it. I keep kicking off until I got it. Hunger strike, that's the answer. Uh, Especially in my condition, with an illness, get in with an illness, can you imagine? Oh boy, they would be terrified that I would die in there. Illegitimate queen, illegitimate king, crown nor a fake store of destiny. Never my queen or king, says David. Don't think a spanner here would ban them. It's got to be YouTube that's done something. Yeah, do that. Try that one. Go out of the channel and then come back in again, Wolfie. Would I like to lose you? Oh, it is that. It is that, Aglo. Yeah, that's right. That's 3 people who have been blocked. For what? I don't know. I don't think anybody in the chat is any more staunch in their opinions or opposition than anybody else. I don't think it could be that. And it's certainly not bad language, that's for sure. Well, that's another good idea, Steve. Try commenting in another live stream. See if it works. See if it happens on another live stream. Didn't work for Bobby Sands. It was Bobby Sands. That's who you're thinking on. Went on a hunger trip. Well, he went on a dirty cell where they used their own excrement and painted it onto the walls of the cell, create a terrible stink. And that didn't do him any good. Then he went on a hunger strike and eventually died. Bobby Sands. Yeah. Dirty protests. Thank you, Uncle. Yeah. Thought that was stupid myself, to be honest. Those dirty protests. I didn't see the sense of that. I didn't see what good that would do. The only people it was going to really affect were those that were in the cell. Didn't make sense to me. Yeah, Wolfie, we want you back as soon as you can. Get back. But I don't know any way of helping you except to try these ideas and see what happens. I mean, plenty of people, to carry on that conversation, plenty of people in the past have taken up protesting in British prison and it's never got them anywhere. Because it's not just you in prison making the protest, you need public support and lots of it. And with a kind of crooked criminal press and media that we've got, they wouldn't support you. Frustration, Steve. Yeah. So always remember watching the film A Sense of Freedom, says David. Jimmy Boyle doing a dirty protest was gobsmacked as a kid. Well, as I said, didn't make any sense to me. Spanish chicken said, I'm a plumber. Dirty protest was making harder for yourself. That's what I think. Hate skidders and imagine all over the walls. Yeah, disgusting. Let's see how that could possibly uh, create sympathy for your cause. But the guards all that would just walk away. How would it affect them? It's not going to affect anybody but you in the cell. Makes no sense. Disgusting. Certainly not something I would consider. But as I say, there are sadly too many of our people in prisons already, and as far as I know, and I'm not an authority on it, but as far as I know, no one has ever been given that status, political prisoner. No, it's disgusting for a start, isn't it? I mean, it's just disgusting, David. Spanish chicken. Totally understand a hunger protest. Don't get self uh, evolution either. Uh, from what I'm told about prison food, I don't think I'd be eating very much at the best of times, to be honest. So I'll get back to Sam. He won't be getting out in any short time. He'll have to do every last minute. And of course, he'll get watched even closer now that they have got something on him, rightly or wrongly. Uh, they'll try and get him again. So we'll have to be a lot more careful. And so will his good lady wife. So anyway, I wonder if William is still with us. Are you still with us, William? Yeah. I've got a bit of a video here. Spanish chicken. Email or letter Hull Prison for Sam. Your support and pressure means a lot. Cheers. No doubt have them quartered in with all the wrong kind. Here's a bit of a video.
Homelessness in Britain is reaching endemic proportions, with new research by Centrepoint finding that as many as 122,000 young people aged 16 to 24 presented to their local authority as homeless or at risk of homelessness in the past year. This follows a 40% increase in youth homelessness over the previous 5 years, with this trend only expected to continue as the government pushes ahead with planned cuts to universal credit. The problem is worse than it was a decade ago, and it's actually worse than it was 2 years ago, said CIO Bacon, the chief executive of Centrepoint. It is heartbreaking to see the range of complex issues that young people are presenting with is also getting wider. The young people who find themselves at risk of homelessness and the set of circumstances that have led them there are far from uniform. This means that a one-size-fits-all approach is not going to provide the right support for everyone, particularly as the number of young people facing homelessness continues to grow.
Say goodbye to old costly cable TV once and for all. This revolutionary invention gives you access to your favorite channels and movies completely free of charge. Greedy.
A breakdown of relations with family members is by far the most common reason that young people find themselves homeless, with 60% stating that they found themselves homeless after their family or friends were no longer able to accommodate them. Gang crime or mental and physical health problems are also often cited as the reasons young people find themselves without a permanent home. While it is clear youth homelessness is on the rise, the statistics fail to capture the true scale of the problem, with many people forced to sleep on night buses or friends' sofas. These hidden homeless often fall beneath the radar but are just as vulnerable and in need of support. The way youth homelessness must be addressed is not as simple as just finding suitable housing for those in need. Young people who have experienced homelessness often have mental health needs and physical health requirements. Likewise, many are dealing with substance abuse issues, while others, such as care leavers, do not have adequate support systems. The complex requirements of these young people means that a holistic approach, rooted in creativity, is required to tackle the youth homelessness crisis. In 2020, there were an estimated 688 homeless deaths in England and Wales. Even more worryingly, the average life expectancy among those experiencing homelessness was 45.9 years for a male and 41.6 years for a female. These shocking statistics provided by ONS indicate just how dangerous sleeping rough can be. From mental health through to physical health, homelessness takes its toll. Each year in our annual service, we take a moment to remember by name the individuals known to us who have passed away. Homelessness can make it incredibly difficult to stay physically healthy. Cold conditions, little food, poor hygiene, and disrupted sleep can lead to a rapid decline in health. Often, physical illnesses will go untreated due to inaccessible healthcare. It's for this reason that at least 1/3 of homeless people die from conditions that could have been easily treated. In addition, homelessness has huge impacts on a person's mental health. The constant stress, loneliness, and trauma can lead to problems such as anxiety, depression, PTSD, and schizophrenia. In 2020, there were 74 suicide deaths registered amongst homeless people, a figure that demonstrates the desperate need for an increase in mental health support. The autumn 2023 snapshot showed a 27% increase in rough sleeping. This is the second year that homelessness has increased, and this number is 120% higher than in 2010, when the snapshot approach was first introduced. It is estimated that 120,000 children and young people are homeless in the UK. This is an estimated figure and could be more. According to Action for Children, this doesn't include the UK's hidden homeless, such as people who are sofa surfing, staying on floors, or with friends and relatives. A review of data held by the National Child Mortality Database revealed that temporary housing was a factor in the deaths of 55 children between 2019 and 2023, of which 47 were children under the age of 1. QSA works hard to help alleviate issues faced by people experiencing homelessness, and the stories we hear are harrowing to say the least. We believe that people are more than just figures. These figures help to reveal failings in the provision of support and the harsh effects this has on real people. In January this year, the Office for National Statistics proposed to stop publishing statistics on death rates among people experiencing homelessness. We have opposed this alongside many organizations. As grim as the numbers are, we need to know and face them. Figures should compel government to find solutions and channel resources where they are most urgently needed. Figures help charities to highlight the gravity and scale of homelessness in this country. Turn a Corner meets the need for human connection and positive mental stimulation for people who are experiencing homelessness and isolation. We have a mobile community library where people can borrow books and which is also a community space for conversation. The increase in people facing homelessness means there are and will be more people who need support. There is a huge demand for essential items such as sleeping bags, socks, gloves, and sanitary items, especially during this cold spell. We are counting on our supporters to help us meet this increased demand and are appealing to everyone for your donations. Please click here to see the list of useful and urgent items and how you can get them to us. According to Combined Homelessness and Information Network research, the number of people sleeping rough in London between January and March 2024 was 37% higher than it was in the same period the year before. In August 2023, London councils estimated that 1 in 50 people in London are homeless. Cases of homelessness in London rose by 54% between 2013 and 2023. Figures from the Chartered Institute of Housing in 2023 showed that almost 8 times more people lived in temporary accommodation in London compared to the wider country. The number of households living in temporary accommodation in the UK has reached its highest level since 2005, with more than 100,000 households affected across England. Almost 60% of these households are in London, including 75,580 children. In the first 3 months of 2024, 56% of people rough sleeping in London were originally from outside the UK. In addition to official counts, many more people are hidden homeless. They may be sofa surfing, living in squats or unsecured accommodation, and don't show up in official statistics. A 2017 London Assembly report estimated that the number of hidden homeless people could be up to 13 times higher than official figures. Several district councils have warned rapidly escalating temporary accommodation costs could push them into bankruptcy. Meanwhile, there are fears that a number of county councils making big cuts to homelessness prevention budgets could push up rough sleeping numbers in towns and rural areas over the next few months. Rough sleeping was most highly concentrated in London, where numbers rose 32% to 1,132, and the southeast. The highest number of rough sleepers in 2023 were in Westminster 277 and Camden 121, while the biggest year-on-year increases were in Kingston upon Hull 290%, Ealing 121%, Redbridge 89%, and Leeds 32%. Annual estimates of rough sleeping are based on a single-night autumn snapshot of people bedding down or about to bed down on the streets or in tents, doorways, or encampments. The estimates do not include people sofa surfing or in temporary shelters. Charities say the figures underplay the scale of the problem. The government will take comfort that the 2023 figures represent a decrease of 9% since 2019 and an 18% decrease on 2017, when the highest annual rough sleeping figures of 4,751 were recorded. The government announced PS 220M of additional funding for homelessness prevention on Wednesday. In England, more than 274,000 people are currently experiencing homelessness. This means that 1 in every 206 people in the country are living without a stable home. Of course, it's important to remember that these figures could be even higher, as many people are missed from homelessness records by being out of view. Recent statistics from Shelter also reveal that London has the highest rates of homelessness, with 1 in 53 people currently without a home in the capital. Outside of London, Luton in Bedfordshire has the second highest rate. The number of people living on the streets has also risen steadily within the last year. Sadly, more than 11,000 people were sleeping rough between April 2020 and March 2021 alone, a 3% increase on the previous year. In addition, new figures for December 2021 suggest that there are currently around 2,700 people sleeping rough on any given night. In Watford, we are now seeing an increase in the number of people needing our support compared to before the pandemic, with 621 individuals coming to New Hope in 2020-21, up from 572 in the previous year. Since April 2021, there has been an increase of over 50% in numbers of people new to homelessness accessing New Hope's drop-in services. Homelessness is a social and political issue. It happens because there are not enough good quality, truly affordable homes available for people on the lowest incomes. The reasons for homelessness include poverty, systemic inequality, and discrimination, incomes that are failing to keep up with rapidly rising rents and the cost of living. All those social issues put immense pressure on people, which can push people into homelessness. Life events can also be a source of considerable strain. This could be a job loss, domestic abuse in the home, or a relationship breakdown. Physical and mental health conditions and substance misuse can also be both a cause or a result of housing insecurity and homelessness. Some of us face additional pressures because of who we are. When these pressures build, people can be pushed into homelessness. Successive governments have not built enough social housing. This leaves people trapped in unaffordable and too often poor quality homes, with the only options being to stay in unsafe housing or be forced into homelessness. A lack of social housing also means an increasing number of people are stuck in unsuitable temporary accommodation, often for months and sometimes even years at a time. We can do better. We can create a secure foundation for a life without homelessness by increasing the supply of truly affordable, decent homes.
Thrill, you take care.
I'm going to give away this incredible $4,000. Wait, no, not this one. This incredible $4,000 piano.
So there you go, folks. A horror story. Yes, it's been like that for a long time, Steve. And I myself have experienced life on the street. I have been there. And you continue to look after yourself, Rill. Continue to get stronger. We need all the good people we can get. And you're one of the good ones. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, Drill. And thanks for being here tonight. I always appreciate the contributions that people make. I always find it interesting that it's not very often that we are out of step with each other. I find that interesting. Treble M, horror story, seeing the footage in the vid. I never thought it was this bad. Treble M, that's just a touch of what's going on. It's worse than that, I'm sorry to say. Okie dokes, Spanish chicken. You take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever you do. And we'll see you soon. And it's always been that way. There's a man who used to live in this town. I don't know his name or anything. But he was an old man. White beard. Straggly hair. Just a bit like myself, actually. And he used to... There was two doorways that you would see him in. And at one time, there used to be 3 doorways. One was the Roman Catholic Church down in Patrick Street, but the church, being the church, chased him away. Or being so charitable, they chased him away. Yeah, a kind of Santa figure. But anyway, the thing about it was, and the reason I'm bringing this man up, is that he actually had a house. He actually had a house, this man. He had a house in the same building as where my mother once lived. Yeah, very Christian. Very Christian. Now, the thing about it was, this man didn't want to live in a house that he had. He had never lived in it. He'd always lived, well, I say he had always lived in the street, but that probably is something of an exaggeration. Sir Thomas Lipton is with us. Good evening, Sir Thomas. I'm a very old man these days, John. Yeah. Aren't we all? Well, anyway, he wouldn't live in it. He refused to live in it, and he was forever getting picked up by the police and taken away under protest. But it never stopped him. He was right back out again. He just, whatever, I don't know what the reasons were. Don't know what the causes were. But he just wouldn't settle in this house. And as I say, he was in the same building as where my mother once lived. And they were pretty good little houses, 1-bedroom houses for. The building had originally been put up for spinsters of the parish. And then it became, as time went on, it became spinsters and widows. A lovely little house. It's become a bit of a dump now because they allowed druggies in and what have you. It's just gone downhill. Sad to say. But anyway, this man wouldn't go in to the house. He wouldn't live in it. And I have heard that other people, I mean, I did run into one myself when I was on the street. But that's another story. It's kind of late to go into that story. Where are you going off, boss? Okay. I'm just closing up shop anyway, to be honest. So thanks again, all of you, for your good wishes about my continuous, reasonably good health. I appreciate your good wishes and thoughts. It is indeed, Steve. Almost that. And I hope, the grace of God, I shall be back on Tuesday. And I'll continue to, yes, please. I always forget. Please hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe if any of you haven't subscribed. That would be nice. The Pudding Bowl is the name of the observatory in Paisley. Linda Hunter. I shall now bring on the music, the musical. So, folks, let me say again, thank you all for being here tonight. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you, Trevor M, for your kind words and kind gifts. I wish you all well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's something that there's Wolfie. Wolfie's there. Hello. Am I here? Yes, you are, Wolfie. You are. Great. You managed to get in. I don't know what you've done, but you've managed to get in. Yeah. I'm so glad about that. Yeah, you got it fixed. Really good. That will show you that you've got it sorted, whatever it is that's caused that. So pleased that you didn't give up on it. About the crappy YT app seems to work. God knows why. Don't ask me. Anyway, you're back with us, which is great. At least you've been able to hear and no doubt see what's been going on. But it's much better, of course, if you can comment yourself. That's the important thing. You've done it. Okay, folks. As I said, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate that. God willing, I'll be here on Tuesday. And we'll see what's what. I shall continue to get these special guests on, and we'll see how that works out. But in the meantime, I shall say adios, au revoir, cheerio, and until Tuesday evening, 9 o'clock, goodbye for now. Take care. Enjoy the music.
Silently the snow falls, paints a winter scene, swiftly spreads the dark rim, hides the fading autumn green. Moonbeams brush the dark wood. Conjure friendships dear to me. Lightly now the breeze flows, disturbing more than just the leaves. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow. Patiently the love grows, lifts the weary heart. Gently now she holds me, melts two worlds once apart. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, usher dreams of you and me. Softly then the breeze blows, disturbing more than just the trees.
All together now.
But love's much more,
So much more
than we can know.
than we can ever possibly know.
We are one small glow
But an important
in
glow.
the eternal flow. Melodies of long ago, songs of innocence, harmonies to soothe the soul, have some consequence. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, awakening joys of you and me. Silently the snow falls, bringing winter symphony.
All together now.
But we're much more
So much more
than we can know.
than we can ever possibly know.
We are one small glow
But an
in the eternal flow. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow.